Happy Labor Day, everybody. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. So, really, I only needed 24 hours off. That's all I needed. Wanted to connect with you guys shortly on Labor Day, maybe half hour. Look, I said I needed a week off. Nope, just needed 6 hours sitting on the patio, drinking some bourbons, enjoying the nice weather. And I'm like, all right, let's get back after it. I felt great. So that means I can go 40 days on, 1 day off, and I feel great. It's game week. So what does that mean? It means we got to talk about the Detroit Lions. I did not go to Dan Campbell's presser. It's 15 minutes. It really just time wise is difficult for me to drive 45 minutes, sit for 15 minutes, write the article, and come back. I want to spend time with the family. So, man, they cranked up the volume though. Look, they realized the slider goes like this on the volume button, and whoo, they came in hot with the questions. Good questions. Dan Campbell set the table for the week. So definitely I got enticed. You know, when you're all in and covering the Detroit Lions, you pay attention to everything. Definitely paid attention to Micah Parsons' intro presser on Friday, what they're talking about. Could he play? How much is he going to play? Lots of people are asking the question, how much does Micah Parsons impact the Packers defense? Does that mean the run defense of the Packers is going to be terrible? We're going to talk all about it. First thoughts. Get your questions in. You know how this goes. This is the Lions on SI Lone Wolves podcast. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon, one of your favorite content creators, podcasters covering the Detroit Lions. Missed you guys. If you want, I did a brief pre-recorded podcast given the season preview, just my overall thoughts about the things I like, the things I'm concerned about. And you know how I know we're making noise? Packers fans are now in the comments. People are paying attention to the videos. I like it. I like the fact that there are others getting in here, looking at what's going on with the Lions. The Lions are underdogs to the Packers. We're going to talk about that. How are the Lions going to win? What are my early thoughts? What are you guys doing today? It's like I said, spend half hour, 45 minutes. I see a lot of the content creators are taking the day off. For me, it's no days off. I mean, this isn't work. I will be doing this with friends, with the people that are going to come over later today. I'm going to hang out on the patio, enjoy the nice weather. I'm a fall guy. That's it. I'm not a summer guy anymore. I'm a Michigan fall guy. Hang outside, enjoy some drinks with friends and family later today. But you got to talk about the Lions. You got to write a little bit about the Lions. It's game week. It's game week. The Lions are going to play the Packers this week. I'm excited. Is it Sunday yet? Is it Sunday? First thoughts. What are your guys' early thoughts about the Packers? I'm not really nervous at all. It feels like to me the Lions are going to go in there and handle business. Feels like the offense understands clearly what to do. We'll talk about Dan Campbell and what he said today. Light day. The Lions have not gotten into the full preparation yet until tomorrow. The Lions had a few days off. Now they get back into it today. It's about just getting the bodies right, lifting, moving, and a light practice this afternoon. Lloyd Trevino, welcome on this Labor Day. Do you think we split this series with Green Bay? Why not win both? I think the Lions have now a laser focus on the division. They understand that the season starts against the Packers and the Bears. I don't think they split. I think they get after it and try their absolute best to win both. Didn't you guys get the memo? Packer Nation, make sure you zoom in real close and hear me. The Lions own Lambeau Field until otherwise noted. Correct? The correct owners of the Lambeau Field are the Detroit Lions and their fans. It's good to talk to you guys. Brent, get after it. As always, you guys know, like, subscribe, help us keep growing. I feel like the channel is growing faster than I even thought it would. Guys, there's a problem. There is a problem. I think I'm liking this way more than I ever thought I would. Remember, I was just an audio-only guy. I would do this but not turn on the video camera. Now I'm liking it way too much. I like the introduction of having conversation with you guys, good, bad, and different. I like the fact that you guys go and tell other podcasters what's said here. I really like this. I didn't think that was my lane. But it's the right time. I mean, I've been podcasting for 15 years. It's the right time to get after it and give it a full effort. So what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe, 5 times a week, 6 times a week. But I know that this is something that can be fun and can be included as part of the coverage. It should be. And Ted realizes too, there's a little component of that that makes it lucrative too, for sure. And how does that help? That just helps the cause for me to work with journalists like Vito and Christian. So continue to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And all you got to do is really follow at Detroit Podcast. I usually give a 5 to 15-minute notice. Hey, bring your questions, bring your commentary. Travis, you get it. Travis Nelson, I think you figured out my secret. There's no excuse not to work hard, but this isn't work. This is just literally me doing what I've done for a decade, just turning on the camera. Travis, I really appreciate you for watching on this Monday, Labor Day. I love hard workers. Love it when real men work holidays, but go Pack, go. Okay, you're allowed. If you sprinkle a compliment, Packers fans are great here. I'm going to try to connect with your guys' reporter, Bill Huber, great colleague of mine, very much a guy that I've looked up to as a mentor. But unfortunately, Travis, I'm sorry to let you know that the Packers are going to start the year 0-1. Doesn't mean that your season's ruined. It just means you have more of an uphill climb. Teddy, will you be doing pre and post? Most likely lots of post games. For sure. For sure that when the games take place at Ford Field, we'll get in and out, write some things, get to the office, and do post games for sure. Pre-game will be tougher because I think the juice will be a lot of the reactions to the games. So post games. So I'm saying that let's say the game 425 is going to end around 7:30. Boom, game story's up 7:30. Probably give me a 30-minute cool down window to evaluate what the game was, gather my notes. So around 30 minutes after the game and get the content plan ready with the fellas, and boom, we'll get on here. So look for me. Look for the Lions Lone Wolves podcast. Nice. First thoughts about the Packers. I'm not fearful that much. I feel like the Lions and their coordinators got things organized. They're going to have a plan ready to give them the best chance. They're familiar with the Packers. They're familiar now with the new defensive coordinator of the Packers. They had a year to learn what he brings to the table, Coach Hafley. And I think offensively, Dan Campbell and Calvin Shepard will definitely understand what the Packers and Jordan Love bring to the table with their offensive weapons. Clearly, stop the run, force some turnovers. My first thoughts are, I need it to be a sea of blue at Lambeau Field. Invade that stadium. Invade the town yet again. Touchdown Lions, I need to hear some roars. I need to see another takeover. That would be great. I am not going to Green Bay. I'll be enjoying. When you have an office like this setup, why would you leave it? I'm not going physically to Green Bay. I've never been to Lambeau yet. Maybe next year. Maybe next year will be the day. This year's road trips maybe are going to include Baltimore, Philly, and Washington for sure, Cincy. So I got to space them out when I get to leave the comfy confines of the studio. I'm comfy. So that's the word of the day. I'm comfortable. I had a great weekend. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. What did you guys do? The weather was beautiful. This is the weather we deserve, not that humidity. Man, I get to go to practice tomorrow. First time to watch them for all of 7 minutes to count the players. Now, when the season starts, we don't get to watch practice, guys. I'm sorry. That is now over. We get to watch the stretching for 10 minutes. Who's there? Who's not there? That will be it. I cannot tell you formations. I cannot tell you who played good. There's no observations. It's just a report on who was there and who's not. That is it. So if you need your fix of practice, there's 41 podcasts where I break down plays. You can go recap it. Get your questions in. Like, subscribe, super chats, go right to the front of the line. And remember, simple rule, not going to tell everybody what to do, but if you disagree with anything I've said, just tell me why I'm wrong. No need to insult, no need to call me names. I'm a Pisces, we're sensitive. And remember, feel free. If something I said you love, write it down and go tell somebody else. Hop on their chat and be like, you know what Doc said? But make sure it's somewhat in context. Did you hear what Doc said on his show? Doc said the Lions are going to own the Packers forever. Sort of. Let's have fun and continue to grow on this holiday. What are you guys doing today? After you enjoy some of this broadcast, what are you guys doing today? Me, going outside, listening to the Tigers and the Mets. Handle business. I don't think I like the day one matchup, though. I think it's Paddock, if I'm not mistaken. You can clear it up for me, guys. Travis, thank you. Cleaning your garage, watching the doc. That's awesome, man. That makes me feel good. That's right. You know, Ted, how Pisces are. Very sensitive, introspective, like to be alone, need our alone time. But very much the nicest people on earth. The greatest people on earth, Pisces. My birthday's 3/11. What up for Doc? Lions rule, Bears drool, Packers are lactose intolerant, Vikings are actually queens. Motown Mitch, dropping some haymakers. What are your questions? What are your first thoughts about the Lions matchup against the Packers? Dan Campbell spoke today. Straightforward. I thought that they were going to announce the captains. I'm sure it's going to then take place Wednesday because if it doesn't get announced, I will ask. I'm pretty sure check out the Lions social media. I got a feeling either today or tomorrow they will announce the captains. I thought that would be done today. Last year it was done on this very same media session. Some of you in the comments were like, yeah, they're going to announce the captains. They're like, what's Dan doing talking today? I wish that we could just say, hey, they're doing it officially. It's weird. I mean, you guys can know. Here's the code. They announce it on their YouTube channel. You can just go to their YouTube channel and they'll tell you roughly when Dan Campbell's speaking. My first thoughts are, I don't know what kind of impact Mike is going to have on his first game in Detroit. You know, first game at Lambeau. Absolutely. Teddy, if you go to Lions on SI, if you go to si.com/NFL/Lions, we did a story. Absolutely. We recapped a lot of what was said on the Green Light podcast and with Jordan Schultz. He asked good interviews. I learned from it. A little bit more of a direct interview style. I like the way Jordan does his business. But I'm never going to have to disagree with him. He might confront me at a Starbucks. But I ain't Rappaport. I'm different. You confront me at a Starbucks, Mr. Jordan, and I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs, what are you talking about? I'll make a scene. My sources are right. But I would never confront Jordan like that. Nobody's going to do that to me. Jordan's not going to roll up on the dock because I'm going to be like, what are you doing? Are you threatening me? And then I'll just fall down. Ow, you hit me. Somebody call my lawyer. I thought that was one of the wildest stories at the Combine. A Twitter war turns into a real life gathering at a Starbucks. No one's going to confront the doc just on their shows. That's it. Look what this idiot's saying on his show. Barry, happy Labor Day. Hey to you. Barry gets in on Labor Day. How much, if any, do you think the Detroit Lions line takes a step back, at least early in the season with the new additions? No, Ted, we'll clarify. He doesn't. He works for himself. He works for Fox. Jordan Schultz does not. What I'm saying is we recapped it, what he said. I'll tell you the name of the story. I think the offensive line is going to have some struggles at times. Clearly, teams I think will attack the A-gap, test out Graham Glasgow. They'll test out a little bit too. Tate Ratledge's side a little bit for some miscommunication, some stunts maybe to get some matchups that they think are favorable. How much do I think? Not terribly. I think the Lions will play to the strengths of Tate Ratledge. And Dan Campbell said today, and it's a header I have we're going to talk about in a few moments, said the rookies better be ready. You're going to need Tate, Isaac, and Tyleek right away. I know there's a concern. You got a young interior, two guards that are fairly inexperienced, but they're good. And I think the way you do that is to get after it to the point where you run the ball quickly, you get the ball out quickly, screens. Nothing early on that takes like the 7 drops got to take time to develop. So Ted, to your point, Jordan Schultz did an interview. We saw it here on YouTube. I know he was there, so I clearly understood he was going to interview somebody important, and then he teased it. And then Vito did a story, and Dan Campbell said, if you don't adapt, you're not going to fit here with the Lions. So, yeah, we recapped it. Good interviewer. Lots to learn, and that's the one thing that's great about following everybody. And for the other media that ignore me, you could learn something from everybody. So I follow every single person. I consume as much Lions content as anybody. Early bird, reading everybody. I subscribe to everybody. It just fills your brain up with Detroit Lions knowledge, and it's really great. Thank you for those. Where are you guys watching from? What city? Shout out to all of you. What city are you guys watching? Are you in your garage? Turn it up. I'll shout out your party if you're hanging out, by your pools, by your decks, on the patio, on your porch. Where are you listening from? I'm curious. What city, state, country, town, and place? Shout out. John, Austin, Texas. Man, I had a good time in Dallas. Man, I had a good time last year in Dallas. I got to go back. 2-hour flight, filled up. Amazing, amazing, amazing barbecue for 3 days. Greece, Kalamazoo. Wow. Is it Nefpaktos, Greece? Did I say that right? Give me a thumbs up. Wow, Greece. Kalamazoo, shout out. Thank you for the Western Michigan program for allowing Michigan State to at least get their first victory. Shout out Twin Lakes. My first thoughts are that the Packers are in for some serious trouble. Now, Vegas, though, does not believe that. Did a little video early on this morning, 2 minutes, just announcing the fact that the Lions are betting underdogs. You guys willing to put your money where your mouth is? Lions are plus 2.5. Man, I think that's an opportunity here. Listen, all discussions that I have are for entertainment purposes only. Please bet responsibly as always. Instead of betting, leave me a super chat. It goes to a better place. But 2.5 points all day, I think, is worth it. Your entertainment doc advice for the week, Lions plus 2.5 seems favorable. Entertaining advice, sprinkle 2-3 units on it. Have a fun Sunday afternoon. Travis, who's better, Micah or Hutchinson? Man, right now, Micah Parsons is consistent, over 50 sacks in his career. But this year, Aiden's going to pass him to a significant degree. Aiden's better. He's going to have, when healthy, I think he's going to have 15 to 20 sacks this year. I truly believe Defensive Player of the Year candidate approaching. I think Aiden Hutchinson's put it together. And also, too, until he inks that contract, I think he's got 50 million reasons to play his absolute best and to hyper focus. 50 million hyper focuses. He's going to get paid. He is going to get paid. He's an all-around player. Now, I wonder, his sacks tend to come in bunches. There are times when opponents chip him and grab him and, play outside the rules to try and stop him. But Hutchinson, I think, is on his way to becoming one of the top 3 defensive ends in all of football. Right about to hit his prime. Look out. Coming off a year where he was hurt. He had a great training camp. Lions are betting underdogs. Would you be willing to put your money where your mouth is? You should. And Dan said, he was asked by a reporter today, have you heard what Vegas kind of says? And now seeing that the national media, again, has turned their attention and made some complaints and has some things to say. He's like, we don't look at that right now. Right now, we just got back from vacation. I'm just trying to get my guys moving around today. Tomorrow will be the rah-rah speeches and get after it. AZ Legends, Hutch can stop the run. Yeah, that's a great question, John. Shout out to you. Can a defensive player be worth 50? That's the going rate, right? Does he match it? Does he go over it? I think you got to go over it. You got to make Hutchinson the highest paid player, non-quarterback in the league. You just got to do it. Do you feel the disrespect that you've heard because the Packers signed Micah Parsons? I think it swung a lot in the favor of the Packers, but I do think that people have, and I like it. People sleep on the Lions. I think that's a good spot for the Lions to be in. And I said that, I think, to end yesterday's podcast before the microphone said, we don't like your football gods take. Again, yesterday, good 35 minutes, the last 60 seconds. This microphone, which has never broken, when I gave my season take, when I predicted that this year will result in a Super Bowl loss, the microphone said, and crapped out for the first time ever. That was not a technical difficulty. Nope. And I left it up there. That's the football gods. Football gods said, we're not going to let you be heard fully saying that the Lions are going to lose the Super Bowl this year. Now, somebody had asked about who my breakout player is. It's a good question. And as a reminder, the game's at 4:25, airing on CBS. And one of you guys can triple check, but that's what I saw today in my in my review of everything. That was you, Ted. Who's the breakout player of the season? I mean, I like what the rookies are doing right away. You got Tyreek, Isaac Tesla, and Tate Ratledge. I like what they can do. Most people think naturally it'd be Tesla. He's going to get out there, probably be the third wide receiver, and get some touches. I think Tesla is going to maybe overdo what people expect him. Right now, the expectation is around 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think he might be able to go over it if he gets into a rhythm. So keep an eye on Tesla. And naturally speaking, I think the expectation is Gibbs going to get a lot of touches. And I think that naturally on the roster, J-Mo and Gibbs are going to dominate, especially if they listen to me. Give Gibbs the football. That was my thesis yesterday. Lions betting underdogs. Keep that in mind. Joe P., shout out to you. Shout out to you, Joe. That means a lot to me. $4.99 super chat. Which starting players on both sides of the ball concern you from watching training camp? Green Bay sucks. All in green, too. I love that. It's my favorite color. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? You give me a super chat, shows up in green. I mean, what's not to like? I got a lot of watches with green dials. It's just a beautiful color. Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. You even dropped a hammer on the Packers. It just looks good. Look at that. Look how good that looks. On a Labor Day. Great question. I'm concerned about Graham Glasgow. There were times that he struggled and got pushed back against. I'm concerned. He's older. I think he's playing a position that is still complicated. That was owned by Frank Ragnow. You got to be concerned because of what he did last year. I think there'll be consistency in getting the calls, getting the protections right. But, dude, you got to block. And you're going up against this year some amazing defensive tackles. That's why the decision was made, guys. It wasn't because of talent. Tate Ratledge is probably your center of the future, but you're going to have some opponents that have some elite defensive tackles. So you got to have some organization. You can't have any level of confusion or it's going to disrupt the whole offense. But I'm concerned about Graham Glasgow. And I'm also concerned, not to the degree that it's going to be his fault, but I'm concerned on how the Lions are going to use Sam Laporta. Block, block, block for the run game. I need that man to produce offensively. Get into that George Kittle tight end 1, really fantasy contributions range. Defensively, DJ Reader is an older veteran. I think he's great against the run, but another year. I thought he had a decent camp, but there were times in practice where you could see a little bit of the age showing. You need to have consistency in the interior, no doubt about it. The defense, man, is amazing. I think the starting 11 should give everybody a lot of confidence, you know. And like I said, the defense played really well. The question mark is going to be, does Terrion translate from what he saw in training camp to the field against better opponents? He had a good camp. DJ Reed had a good camp. Very solid camp. The safeties had a good camp. I think that from last year, Brian Branch, you would expect a little bit that he tightens up the discipline. You don't want all those 15-yard penalties. You want him to play within the confines of the rules. But I think the veteran, you got to go with it. You got to go, naturally speaking, you know, like Brett Holmes, you got to monitor the older players. I think Alex Anzalone as well, still a good contributor. Jack Campbell got to continue to work to get better in coverage. But the two UB is Jack Campbell and DJ Reader. I think Campbell will produce and do a lot of good things, have a nice high tackle rate, definitely willing tackler, get after it. But you got to get better in coverage. And those matchups, man, these offensive linemen can get the tight end in space. It's just a natural matchup that's hard for everybody. What about you, Joe? You've read me. You've read all the others, I'm certain. Thank you so much for contributing. It really does mean a lot to me on a Monday for you to peek in and then ask a question. Shout out to you. But the older guys, get after it. So for entertainment purposes only, 2-3 units, Lions plus 2.5. Dan Campbell said today, Lions rookies got to be ready. Now, he said, he's talking to a team reporter. My goodness, today, it was noticeable. Did you guys notice? And I'm not going to take credit, but did you guys notice that when Doc was screaming at the end of a podcast that the audio was not to the standard of the Doc? Today, they just changed it to the level that it was almost like too loud. I'm not taking credit, but when we say things, I think people are hearing it. And if you don't know what I'm saying, I screamed. I said, I think the Doc deserves a big green mic with my own name on it, and I deserve the first 3 questions. And in return, if they can't accommodate that, then I need to be able to ask I need to have the second credential to allow a friend to hang with me. Fair trade, right? But holy cow, today they slid that audio slider way up there. And the Lions team reporter said, hey, what's going on with the rookies? And Dan's like, what do you mean? You got me concerned. He said, Tate Ratledge is not coming off the field. Every down player at guard. He's ready. They're ready. So I'm very curious as to see how Tyleek, Isaac Tesla, and Tate Ratledge, if they go good, boy, their wins are going to pile up. If they go good, oh my goodness. If they go good and Tate Ratledge helps in the run game, they got to be ready to play. Ron gets in. Gibbs will run past Micah. Monty will run him over. I'm looking for an embarrassing outing for Micah. And also, Green Bay gave up their immediate future for this dude. Listen, he's going to have an impact. Guys, they don't care about their immediate future. They're making a push now this year. Clearly, they don't care. They gave up 2 first-round picks. You have to respect it, but understand that the Packers believe that they got a window. Why, Ron? I think you know this. They have a quarterback that is still developing. They have a nice offense, and they wanted to solidify a defense that was pretty decent last year. Not against the run per se at times, but they had enough to give them some credibility to get after it. Joe P, going to get to you, man. Thank you again. Jason, hey, good afternoon. So happy to catch you live. I never thought that message would come across like 100 times, but that's the nicest message you guys could send me. Happy. I check you out. I see you. I see what you're doing. I read what you're doing. I see your videos all over the internet. I see you upsetting the apple cart everywhere. But to see you live excites you. Thank you. Jason Wells, thank you. Thank you. Happy Labor Day. Get after it. Let's go. Joe P, shout out to you. Where are you from? I don't know if this is the first time you've left, but now I definitely know you're here. How did the run offense look during camp? Green Bay's defense got a lot better. They're fast, athletic, but seem to lack the beef. Think we can run it. Very smart. Get after it. Leave your comments. You know what's up. Yeah, you know what's going on. How did the Lions run offense look? Look great with Gibbs. At times in some of the practices, the defensive line would collapse up the middle. I think some of my observations I've said was the running attack up the middle at times got clogged and bogged down. But when Gibbs was able to run between the tackles, it was pretty sight. I was standing next to a radio host, a local radio host that's affiliated with the Lions. And I said, man, I saw him cut through between Mahogany and the left tackle there, Jamarco Jones, or was I believe it was Jamarco Jones and Mahogany. And he made a cut move and just was right after it. The run plays to the outside were a lot more smooth than they were up the middle. The run offense looks good. And think about it. What I saw was Tate Ratledge getting able to get to the second level quickly. Great footwork, great power. And he looks comfortable at right guard. Great decision to put him at right guard to start the year. Amazing. The question mark will be up the middle. How do you handle it? But you're going to need to move the pocket. Joe P, shout out to you, man. 2 super chats. Man, I'm humbled. Shout out to Steve. Happy Labor Day to you. Never fear, Steve. You can catch the last 5 minutes of the whole show. It's on demand, baby. That's what makes this fun. Shout out to Steve. Long-time supporter, long-time good dude, East Sider. Shout out to you. You know what you mean to us. Steve has been on the start tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys, is the 12-year anniversary officially of Detroit Sports Podcast. Started in September 2nd, 2013 was when the official name of the podcast hit. September 2nd, 2013. So that's what, 12 years. This is our going on lucky 13. Big things ahead. To the 300 of you here across 2 platforms, nice. Hit the like button. Hit retweet. And it's your birthday. Listen, man, shout out to you. Everybody, wish Steve a happy birthday. He's been rocking with the doc since 2013. Debating, commenting, making requests. Steve actually said, why aren't you on YouTube 5 years ago? Doc, you should be on YouTube. And I ignored it. Doc, you should be on YouTube. It's fun. You would do well there. Steve, I should have listened. From this is great. I should have listened to you, Steve. Shout out to you. Happy birthday. Many, many, many more. Always the best to you and your family. East Siders. No doubt. We're a community here. We're all friends. Jason, of course. Happy Labor Day to you and yours. Are you sure? Just found you on YouTube from Ron. I'm glad you're not an AI bot podcast. No, I'm real. I didn't. See, they fly in throw so fast. Thank you for reminding me. Man, it's a good question. You know why? Cortez, let's be real. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how to do that with the colors. Came out light blue. It's an okay color. It suits me. My wife likes me in that outfit. I apologize. Coming through so fast. And if I happen to make a mistake, remind me, hey, I sent you something. Bold it and put it in green if that gives you an option. Cortez, shout out to you. Happy Labor Day. Sorry. My apologies. Truly. Is Tesla a future replacement for JMO? That's tough. It's a little bit different. It would not be one for one, meaning there's still a chance JMO hits the open market and gets a lot of money, 25, 30 million. It's going to depend on this year's production. But Brad did say it's the easiest position to replace. All he's got to do is, he's got those scouts over there and go, oh, at Ohio State, they're a wide receiver factory. You can replace JMO easier, speedy, maybe not as fast than it would be with what Tesla. Tesla is a Patrick replacement. He's the X. JMO's a little bit more useful and can do a lot more things. The speedy wideout that can line up at different spots is one in which they're just coming out in droves. Look at it. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, CeeDee Lamb. They're all over the place. So to your point, no. He's now the third X receiver, big-bodied, can get after it, the Anquan Bolden type, the Tim Patrick type. If you replace JMO, you go in the draft and you get a young person to get after it. But he's a great player. Man, he's going to be impactful. Shout out to you. Hopefully that answers your question. Put a disclaimer for what? I forgot to complain already. You're going to have to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. People will stop complaining. Fantasy questions. Is it safe to start Tesla? No. Early on, you got to wait 1 week to see. I mean, look at it. JMO, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta. He might give you, 1-2 catches and a touchdown, the early points, but you got to wait a week. Smart for you to draft him. I did too. But it's more for the later half of the year. Stock him away, in my humble opinion. Stock him away. Rookies. Who do you think is going to be the rookie of the year for the Lions? Tesla, Ratledge, or Tyreek Williams? It's going to be one of the three. I'm excited. I think the rookies are going to contribute right away. The top three. My goodness. And how great is that to see? Tesla's going to get after it. Dan Campbell said Tate Ratledge is not leaving the field. Tyreek Williams, underrated. Ray Agnew said that they believe he can become a player that rushes the passer. Tate Ratledge. I think might get the early votes because of his contribution. He's not leaving the field. He's not leaving the field. Dan Campbell today had a lot of interesting things to say. And one of the things that caught a lot of people's attention was from a veteran radio host, was about the third quarterback. That caught a lot of people's attention. And I think we now know that Hendon Hooker might have caused the development track to kind of end. And why? Well, think about it. Think how difficult. I don't think the Lions have room to develop. And here's what I mean. So the Lions right now don't have a third quarterback. Do you think they need one? Right now, the practice squad, I believe, is full. And they have they don't have a third quarterback. So Dan Campbell was asked by WJR radio host, hey, what are you looking for in a third quarterback? What are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody that's going to develop? Are you looking for somebody that can just come in and run the ship, be better at what he's doing? And he's like, no, we're looking for somebody to run the offense we're comfortable with. Basically, he said, we like a veteran. Smart. They don't got no time to develop a quarterback. There's no time. Just does that mean you go out and make a move for somebody that gets cut later on? What do you guys think? It's an interesting topic. Jason's like, absolutely not. Let's not talk about the third quarterback. No more roster spots for quarterbacks. The two they got are good enough. Guys, it could happen. Heaven forbid something happens to Goff, and then Kyle Allen gets in, he gets hit. Now who hands the ball off? J-Mo? Amon-Ra? That's why they call him the emergency third. But Dan Campbell said it, and I think it's a clear hint. They did not do well enough at this point in time. It's a freight train moving. There's no time to develop somebody. There's no time to develop a quarterback. Hell, Tesla can do it. Tesla, Tesla can be the emergency quarterback. Hand off to Gibbs. What do you think about the third quarterback? Is that a concern? Malachi, shout out to you, man. Good question. A lot of good question about the offensive line. It's the biggest area of concern. It's the question mark you guys got. Do you think the interior line will hold up against the blitz? That's the biggest question, man. I do think they're going to give up some. Those defensive tackles, those stunts, man, these defensive coordinators are getting after it with how they can use their linebackers. The Sam linebacker position is something else, but you know the schedule, you know what's going on. The defensive tackles, Ravens, Steelers, early on, Bears. It's going to be something to look at. You got to pay attention to the stunts, to where the blitzes are coming from, the safety blitzes. Do I think they'll hold up? I think they'll offset that. You offset that by getting the ball out quickly, getting some screen passes, and letting the pressure come a little bit and dumping it off to Gibbs in the flat. But if they catch you in a rep where it's a 5-step drop and it's going to take a little bit of time to develop, there could be some leaks, as they say. Your concern is very valid and warranted. But overall, I think as the season goes on, they will hold up. Hank Fraley's an OG. He's seen it all. But I need all 5 starters to stay healthy. I don't want to see Jamarco Jones or Manu trying to hold up anything. Now, Awosika, I think he can be trustworthy. The guard depth is pretty much okay. Do you guys trust Gibbs and Montgomery to pick up the blitz? I think they're decent blockers, but man, those are nice collisions that I saw in practice. And Gibbs can hold his own. Good question, Malachi. Happy Labor Day to you. How many wins do you think, Malachi? What are you thinking about the Packers game? What are you guys thinking? To reset what we've talked about the first 30 minutes, Packers are a 2.5-point favorite. My thoughts are the line should be confident, and we're going to go more in depth into matchups later on this week. I don't know. I might do 5 days. I don't think tomorrow's a Lions day. I'll be at the facility all day. Tomorrow we'll have reports all day from the facility. We'll be in the locker room for the first time. Who should I talk to? Who gets to talk first tomorrow on a Tuesday? So tomorrow we'll be there all day at Allen Park to recap everything going on. You can find it at Lions on SI right there on the crawl. Yeah, center backup is very concerning. Kingsley. Look at you, 13-4. That's optimistic. That's on the high side. Steve, you're trying to put me on the spot. Sometimes they do. Most of the time it's just protein bars, and sometimes there's opportunities to get that taken care of. But, to me, the focus has got to be on writing, not the food. So I definitely grab a couple of protein bars, granola bars. That's pretty much perfect for what I need. But I will say this. I don't know how to act with something like that, because others facilities that I've visited do things a little differently. For the joint practices, the Giants served us buffets, sandwiches every day. And I think I said, hey, my colleague with the Giants, they serve you this every day? And they're like, yeah. Like, oh man, I'd be like 50 pounds heavier. So I think for me, granola bars are fine. I don't want to be spoiled. And there was nothing like I saw in Dallas. Dallas was like way like an outlier of how great it was. For me, I like it. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. I don't need to be fed. I need to work. Otherwise, I'd be sleeping there at the facility. I'd be in a food coma. I got a report. I got a podcast. Alan has an interesting point. Are you guys this way? I think this year you got to pay attention to the regular season just because of how tough it is. I don't care about the regular season anymore. Just stay healthy and make the playoffs. The one seed didn't mean anything last season. I can understand and respect your point of view. It's funny comments. No, it does matter because of how they're playing. And remember, too, last year, Alan, I hope you followed us. When Aiden went down, there was a big panic level. Now, let's keep it real. When Aiden went down, the talk was, okay, the Super Bowl hopes should stop. Your best player went down. It's really not, some networks will just go out there and just say, and some sites will just say, everything's great all the time. The Lions are going to win all the time. Don't worry about anything. They don't worry about nothing. Just everything's great. Everything's wonderful. Just everything's great. No concern, no talk, no depth, no nothing. Everything's great. Okay. But the key thing that we said that really hit home that it was going to be tough is when Aleem went down, that was a wrap. You would have liked to have beat the Commanders, but I feel like with an injured team, you would have got rolled by the Eagles. You always want your best team to play at home, Alan. It's just the way it is. Yes, last year was an outlier. It's not an excuse, but it's just what happened. Your best two defensive players basically went down. How do you win? It just was one of those deals. It's a good, but I think for you, Alan, I think the best way to be supportive for you is week by week. That's fair. This week, on to the Packers. I can respect your opinion, but the number one seed I'd rather have all day and twice on Sunday, especially this year. I'm sure the Giants feed him good. He dropped some weight. Yeah, no, Doc does not need to be eaten like a champ trying to work. Joe, keep him coming. I love it. Madison, Wisconsin. Man, you know who shouts out Wisconsin? Green River, Jim Rome. Man, those pictures are beautiful. I was like, I'm a follower, and I'm like, honey, man, I think it's Fall Rivers or Green River, or he's just there. He's got a place on the river. I want to say Fall River, but you can correct me. Man, it's beautiful. The people partying on the lake. I'm like, honey, do you think, if we want to get a lake house, you want to get one in Wisconsin, on Wisconsin? Jim Rome posts these photos. I'm jealous. I just want to sit by the water. I want to say Green River. I want to say Fall Rivers is what he said. Fall Rivers in my head. He posts the pictures all the time. Beautiful. Man, I want to hang out there. Doc, I'm from Wisconsin. I live in Madison. I go to the D once a year for a game. Any recommendations? Usually go to Greektown, Eastern Market for pregame. I think the chat will agree. We're going to divert you from Greektown, especially in the evening time. We're going to just have you stay towards Eastern Market. There's a lot of festivals there on Brush Street. There's a lot of things to go to. Around the time that you come to town, hit us up, and we'll give you some great tailgate. Eastern Market is great, but there's also been some, incidents. And so gatherings are a little bit more delicate these days. Eastern Market's very popular, but there was an incident last year and not a positive one. Y'all shared it. Y'all on your cameras and your HD cameras shared it, and I had to see it. But, there's Tin Roof right across the street from Ford Field. It's amazing. The area right across from Ford Field is really nice. There's the Elmwood. It's directly across from Ford Field. The Elmwood is really cool. So, Joe, when it comes time and you see a broadcast, hit me up in the comments and we'll set it up. Also, too, friends at Woodward Sports, they do gatherings too. So when you come, let us know. We'll take care of you, Joe P. You'll meet with the crew, and hopefully one day we'll meet. Get a shout out. I really appreciate you. But yeah, let's stay away from Greektown at night. It's a little more challenging these days. Yes, you know. What game you thinking about coming to? Let us know. Make sure you hit us up in the comments and at Detroit Podcast when you're in town. Shout out to you, Joe. Shout out Wisconsin. Joe P corrected me. See, sometimes getting wrong. Get the tip. Eagle River. Saw Kevin Zeitler's place up there too. Eagle River. Hell, I should look. I mean, I follow Jim Rome and I follow all his stuff. Eagle River. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Eagle River. Parties. Spends his vacations. Got kids in college. Does his thing. Still after it after all these years. Malachi's like, Doc, I mean, you might not be accurate. Greektown is being reconstructed to be a pedestrian. Only a couple of blocks, no more cars can drive down Monroe Street. I think it'll be much safer. All right. Malachi's like, give it one more chance. You know, we saw those 59 other videos, Malachi. We all were on social media. Doc ain't rolling out at midnight at Greektown. But he's talking more toward before the game. That's when everybody's calmed down. The alcohol's not flowing. Everybody's still got their money in their pocket. None of the outside influences have gotten into their bodies yet, and it can be safer. Where do you guys go to tailgate? All right, about 10 more minutes. We'll get after it here. Happy Labor Day, everybody. So, again, to reset, first thoughts, I'm not really concerned about the Packers. I think the Lions match up very well. I think the Lions are going to start the year 1-0. There are going to be some matchups that are not going to favor the Lions. But the Lions collectively, offensively, are just going to be tough to stop. They're going to be super aggressive, and Jordan Love is going to give you turnovers. I mean, how do you not think that Kirby Joseph's going to get one or two interceptions? Who's the third quarterback that could come in here and run the show? That's a tough thing to ask for. I don't know. Who's the third quarterback that's going to run the show? But yeah, thank you, Hendon. You ruined it for developmental quarterbacks. It's smart. Who's the third quarterback that can come in here and run the show? Nobody. All of nobody. Just think about that, Joe. I didn't feel unsafe in Greektown, probably because of the metal detectors on the sidewalk. I feel safe to me. There's only 49 Detroit police cop cars there. You got to check social media because something went down. Listen, we just try to be. Listen, I'm ultra cautious. I'm ultra precautious. Nothing good happens after midnight. Doc's in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock anyway, because I'm a 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock riser. I'm old. Like, that Doc falling asleep at 10 o'clock there at Greektown? What do you guys think? How do the Lions start the year? Dan was asked, Packers, Bears. Is that a concern to start the year against two division rivals? No. I think the Lions have a chance to start the year 2-0. At worst, 1-1. You're going to really focus on the Bears. First three games, you probably end up 2-1. Probably lose to the. We have at Lions on SI. We did, what's the first game the Lions are going to lose? We have that being the Ravens game, 2-1. And then we get to week 4. Let me check the schedule officially here. Detroit Lions 2025 schedule. What do you guys think the first 4-game schedule is? First quarter of the season, what's their record? 2025 schedule. Let's see here. After the Ravens, because I've targeted the first 3 games. I know the game after the 4th game is week 5 is the Bengals, because that's when Miles Frazier can come back. He's got to miss the first 4 games. Week 5, I think, is the Bengals. Detroit Lions 2025 schedule. Huh. Week 3 is the September 14th is the Bears. Okay. That's why, because it's a road game. Oh my goodness. You get to come back and then take care of the Browns on the 28th. Oh, forget about it. You're going to be 3-1. Oh my goodness. You're going to be 3-1. 3-1. That's perfect start to the year. Am I wrong? I think the Ravens is the toughest game. 2-2 at worst. At worst. What do you guys think? It's a good banner. First 4 games. We'll leave on that. What is Lions' record? That's a great question. Like I said, I'm confident. I think they're going to roll the Bears. You're going to be focused. If whatever happens against the Packers, should you end up losing, you destroy the Bears. And then you get on the road, maybe have a rough game, and then you come back, you destroy the Browns. That's good. Exactly, Art. Shout out to you. You know what's up. On the 23 team has the Ravens game circled. The last 2 were rough. In early Dan Campbell's tenure, the Ravens rolled up on the Lions in Baltimore. It was just not competitive. That was, I think, rookie year for St. Brown, where he made that block, and Dan Campbell noticed, hey, we're getting our tail kicked in, but look at this player still blocking. He still cares. And then you had that game where sitting there, I sit by the end zone, and it was like this. Justin Tucker's kick. I think he had a massage before the game. He was feeling good, allegedly. It was like slow motion to me. Doink in. He had to have one of those massages before the game. He was feeling good. Limber. Allegedly. Shout out, Steve. Tigers up 1-0. Love it. Yeah, so I want to avenge some losses against the Ravens too. So, Mr. Shepard, do you think you should use a QB spy against the talents of Lamar Jackson? Good question here. Joe P. How did we do in joint practices against Stroud? Think we'll be giving Jordan Love fits. Think it's a good thing starting the season against division rivals. Absolutely, you're going to focus. I was glad it was one practice. I thought the Lions dominated the Dolphins, and then against Stroud, he was able to get some things, but then it was back and forth. It literally was a joint practice that was more in line with what I'm used to seeing, because the Dolphins was so clearly one-sided. It was back and forth. Stroud make a play, Lions make a play. Across the board. It was an evenly matched practice. But it was great because in that situation with the Dolphins, I was able to have a colleague there. It made my life so much easier. I got to talk to somebody, and we reported accurately what happened. Against the Texans, it was just me. So I was trying to watch both, but every time I seemed to look at the Lions defense, they were forcing a turnover. And Kirby Joseph got an interception. Amit got an interception. So, yeah, they're going to give Jordan Love fits. Bold prediction, pick 6, Terrion Arnold. In the end zone dancing. We're going to see the Terrion Arnold experience. And look out. If he gets in the end zone, it'll be an experience. I'm just saying. Allegedly. Allegedly. Makes you limber. Helps, right? I love you guys. Allegedly. Broski Bear, I think that's a good question to end on. Great question. Shout out to you on Labor Day. Thank you guys that you guys make the 60 minutes fly by. I'm going to get after now, go outside. Enjoy, interact, comment. I'm around. I'll be by my phone. Now, you know me. This is how I'll be. This is how I'll be this afternoon. John, you going to pay attention to us? Yes, I will. I got to see if any of these Lions get after it. That's how I'm going to be. So get after it. Comment. John, hey, what are the top 3 reasons why you think they beat the Packers? 1, they run the ball. Gibbs, this is Gibbs' team. He's a superstar. He'll be the best player on the field. Gibbs, 1. 2, Jared Goff's better than Jordan Love. He'll protect the ball, less turnovers, will operate like a precision, and he'll get after it. 2. 3. Lions win the turnover battle. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Amik Robertson, Terry Arnold. It might be an all-out turnover party. It's a turnover party up in here in Lambeau. It'll be a Detroit Lions party. Now, I didn't want to leave. I'm sorry. I didn't want to leave on this. So I think this is funny to me because I don't know the context of it, but I do now. I see the Lions team reporter, Danny Rogers, I think does work with Big Ten Network, does other side work with other outlets. So she's sitting there on the desk and there's a guy clowning Jared Goff and she's got to sit there and just go, oh, I think that's funny because she works for the team. She gets a check from the team. And this guy's just, first of all, tell me what you think of his comments, because I do think that still questioning Jared Goff at this point, I get why, because the last performance he had was awful. I get why. And I understand the doubts, clearly. I've expressed them too. But it's funny too, because it's in the context of her just sitting there and like, oh, I wish she would have said something. It would have been interesting. But she didn't. So I'll play it and tell me what you guys think of his comments. And I understand now too what I got to do. What I'll do is I'll mute the mic so you don't get the reverberations of what he's saying. I'm learning, guys. I'm tech savvy. No, Malachi, I am a grinder, but I took Saturday off. I literally said, Malachi, I needed a week off. I said, I'm done after 41. I did 41 straight days, 41 straight. That's how much I love this. This is really not grinding, talking to friends, talking to rational people that get my jokes. Only the irrational people fly off the handle about anything said here. I love it. I've done 5,000 podcasts, but you guys said, hey, try the video one. You're not that bad at it. You're not that ugly. I said, okay. I don't want to expose myself, to, who want to watch this face. That's how I looked at it. But then you guys said, listen, we're professional. We're listening to the contents of your character, not what you look like. And I said, you know what? I have some things to say. I am different than everybody else. And now I can speak my mind freely because I've reached an agreement with the people I work with for a long time to do this. So I'm very happy. I have the freedom of expression. And when you take away, when you give somebody creative control to just do whatever, great things can happen. Thank you. So I've done now technically. So Friday was 41, took one day off, 43 of 44 days. I love it. I just love it. I'm a podcaster. That's what I want you to know me as. And man, I greatly appreciate you watching me, man. Shout out to you. Make sure if you're in the area, downtown, you're in the area, hit me up at Detroit Podcast. Love to meet you. Listen to what this guy says. He's a reporter. I don't know who he is. You can tell me who I identify. I'm not going to hear it as I play it.
And when you're thinking about it within his division,
let's get after
quarterbacks that have
this is him talking and doubting Jared Goff publicly.
You question whether or not he can handle pressure. You have J.J. McCartney, who is the unknown.
Boom.
We don't know what he can do because he didn't play a lot last year at all.
Turn off the mic.
And so now that's the biggest key. So now you just
this is what this guy's saying about Jared Goff. And Danny Rogers got to be like,
so I do feel like they'll win that division.
Interesting.
The Chicago Bears, I feel like. Green Bay, to me, went from my third pick to now second in that division. And when you're thinking about it within his division, you have two quarterbacks that have some question marks. You have Jared Goff, and you question whether or not he can handle pressure. You have J.J. McCartney, who is the unknown. We don't know what he can do because he didn't play a lot last year, if at all. And so now that's the biggest key. So now you're just working with Chicago. And Chicago on paper looks tremendous. So I do feel like they'll win that division. The Chicago Bears, I feel like. Green Bay, to me, went from my third pick to now second in that division and perhaps making the playoffs.
Wow.
I know. I'm sorry, but that's them the breaks.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see when week 18 comes what that actually looks like. I know.
And when you're thinking about it within his division, you have two quarterbacks.
So what'd you make of what he said? Questioning Jared Goff, and Danny's just sitting there. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So, national reporters, they look from the outside. and they come in and they share their opinions. I just think that a little bit weak, but I get it. I get the concerns that people have about Jared Goff. We can question Jared Goff on the outside or from the inside covering the Lions. But what'd you make of what he said? Fair, foul? I just love that. I just want, Danny to be on the desk and have just people be like, I think the Packers are the team to beat. And she's like, oh, and she can't really, in that clip, at least it couldn't speak up. Well, I work for the team and here's what I think. And did you guys notice too? I didn't watch it yet. Brad Holmes seemed a lot more energized talking to her than he did to us. His energy kicked in when he was sitting across from Danny. He was smiling. Your players love you, Brad. I didn't watch it yet, but I got to. It's a weak opinion, right? I think Jared Goff's going to have a good year, but Malachi, the time he's got to the time it's got to shine is in the playoffs. Yeah, let it play out. Right? That's how I think most people said it. Interesting means, oh, you're not really informed. Nah, I don't think so. I think that's a lot of people's opinion. Goff has a lot of turnovers at times in games when he goes south. You always got to watch for that. But again, last year was a pass because of all those injuries. This is a big year for Goff. Yeah, it'll be a question mark. All right. 2 minutes left. We'll go 69 minutes on Labor Day. Thank you guys humbly. Again, like and subscribe. Thank you guys for keeping me in the mix, for allowing a podcaster to get after it and to broadcast and to have fun an hour a day. It's not work. The hour just flew by. Talking to friends. You guys are like, listen, tell us what we want to hear and we'll call you beautiful. Troll a little bit and we'll call you an a-hole and call you a troll and ugly. I'm down for that. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member. Try to do 1 or 2 just videos for members that you can see early. It's going to be a big year. Week 1, tomorrow, we'll be at Lions practice. All the inside information from some coordinators or some coaches. I think it'll be a coach that you'll be interested in talking to tomorrow. si.com/NFL/Lions at Detroit Podcast for all the information. Labor Day, watch some baseball, have some cocktails, enjoy it. So cheers to you guys for listening. The 400 of you that are in here across 2 platforms, man, that means a lot. Like it, comment, and shout out to all the friends. And again, really, it does mean a lot when you guys say, hey, oh, I got to see you live. It means a lot. That's really nice. It makes it fun to do. Again, nothing yet has led me to believe that the Lions will not be 1-0. I think the Lions own the Packers. They'll start the year off strong. And as we go, we'll look at matchups. We'll look at, we will give you the insight from the other side. I got to let Bill Huber talk about the Packers, but we'll have a good conversation. Thank you for letting me talk for 69 minutes. Nice. Doc and friends getting after it. Happy Labor Day. Shout out to all the great Detroit Lions fans, the single best fan base in the entire league. Hands down, without a doubt. Most passionate, most rabid, most supportive. Peace and love. Let's get after it. Cheers. Let's talk tomorrow. Hopefully. Maybe. If not, Wednesday. We'll see.